Hey, welcome to Jamie and Chris Don't Be an Idiot. This is my friend Chris. I'm Jamie. Let's have a show.
All right. So I've been really excited to hear about Jamie's last weekend.
I'm not excited to tell you about Jamie's last weekend in Virginia.
He was racing last weekend with his group of his team, his race team.
Team drinking buddies, I guess you would call them.
Drinking buddies, and but not drinking while they're racing.
No, well...
So,
okay, no, not drinking while we're racing. Yeah, you're right.
That would be unsafe.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I saw a picture, but I haven't heard the rundown of what happened. As discussed in our other videos, we lost one car because we have two race cars. The Honda hit a wall. A guy subbed for me and ended up wrecking the car. But he subbed for you? I mean, you couldn't drive?
I couldn't drive because I had a wedding to attend.
So not this last weekend.
Yeah, this was the Honda. Now we've got a Nissan 240SX, which it's funny. I was on comms and the first driver went out, which is kind of like one of the guys who originally started this race team. And went out. He got about 25 laps in, and then all of a sudden over the comms, he's like, I'm really sorry, you guys, or you guys are going to kill me, or, I hit the tire wall. And I'm like, oh, geez. I'm like, well, is it drivable? He's like, I don't know how bad it is because, you're in the car. You're basically bolted into this car. So he said, I go, well, see what you can do. See if you can bring it around. Let's see what it is. So he gets it loose. And he gets back on the track. He brings it around. And as I see it coming in the pits, I'm like, go to the trailer. Because the entire front end, and I'll put a picture in here somewhere so you guys can see what it looked like. Mm-hmm. But, the entire front end was demolished. So we removed some stuff. We had to move some oil lines because he had got into the oil cooler. And then we got her back out on the track. So then the next guy took over. He ran about 30 laps because that's about what we get out of a tank of gas. And then the next guy went through and ran it about 30 laps. Ron did a great job. Chris did a great job.
This is about 200 miles each person or what?
30 laps, three miles, probably about 150, I guess.
Okay.
I think somewhere in there, 100 to 150. So then, it comes to my turn. I get into this beat up car, which is crushed in the front, and I start
less aerodynamic.
Yeah, it was like racing a wall. So I get out. There's a blend line at the end of the track. Any of you race fans out there? So I hold the blend line. I go around turn 1, no problems. Turn 2, no problems. Then I'm starting to speed up a little, which isn't fast. I'm probably doing about 45, maybe 50. And I'm going to take this thing wide because there's no cars on my butt, nothing. I'm like, the track's cold. I know it's slippery. And I take it a little bit wider. And then all of a sudden the car starts to run on me. Just starts to let go. I'm skating towards the same wall that my buddy Tom hit.
So how close did you run into it then?
It was a long distance because I was pumping the brakes to try to get it to slow down on the track. Once I hit grass, that thing just kept going. And boom, I was into the wall. And it was kind of a downhill, so it was like the momentum was kind of carrying me down the hill.
So you hit the grass and you still go a ways before you hit
I had
the
to have
rubber.
gone, I'd guess 20 or 30 yards.
Really?
And once I rested up against the wall, I was like, I remember I said to the guy holding the comms at the time, I'm like, yeah, we're done today.
What's the comms?
The comms, just basically the communication with the pit.
Okay.
I said, we're done today. I guarantee I've messed it up. So at that time, we had pulled all the stuff out of the front of the car to allow it to have some kind of cushion. At that time, I broke the wheel off the car or broke one of the arms off of the wheel.
They need some softer tires to run.
Yeah, well, it happens. It happens, and the worst part about it is this, I've been to Virginia before, this raceway, International Raceway, but this is never raced it, and I didn't even get a lap in. I basically got out on the track and torched the car.
But two
drivers
on the same day.
With the
Same wall, same car.
So how close did you hit from where the other
I
guy
have
hit?
no idea. I didn't see the skid marks. I wasn't going to go back. So yeah.
Wow. And
My ego's bruised.
So you said the wheel fell off. I mean, that's
Yeah,
a pretty
broke.
big impact, right?
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't. Frankly, it wasn't that hard of an impact. You know, it was basically a slow ride to that.
Because you were going, and you said about 40 miles an hour. And
Yeah, I was
you had
probably
this
down
30
to about 25 when I hit the wall. You know.
Okay.
So luckily enough, nobody's hurt. Just my feelings and
Ego.
and the car, ego.
You got to include the ego.
Yeah, you know, and I think from this part we're kind of like, you know, maybe it's time we update the car. So I think what we're going to do is find a 350Z. If any of you have one that's available for gutting, you know, 2009 is what we're looking for. Please email
It's got to
us.
be a 2009.
It does, because it can't go over a certain year in our race,
Okay.
you know, group or whatever.
Has
the
to
race.
qualify for collector plates or something?
Yeah,
or-
well, you know, it's got to fall within certain parameters of what this race league is. So it's got to be 2009 on that
So
particular.
that's
car.
interesting because you guys changed the engine. You changed so much of the stuff in
Yeah,
the car.
yeah.
But the body's got to be a 2009.
Body and the components have got to be a later model. So yeah, it's an interesting, fun thing to do. It, you know, frankly, it's getting kind of expensive. You know, I wasn't much of a fan of this car in the first place. Sorry, Tom. I know you listen to the podcast, but you know,
But so you spend about 50 grand on these cars, but you
I
spend
don't
a
know
lot
about
more on
that. I
maintenance,
think there's
right?
over 100 grand that's been spent on this car.
I mean, for the maintenance, like, you know,
Oh
the
yeah,
initial
I mean, we
purchase-
just put. I want to say we put 30 grand into it in the last 3 months.
Because every time you race it, you're buying a new set of tires, right?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
And then there's everything else that goes wrong.
Yeah, and these, by the way, these tires sucked on that track.
What about the brake pads?
We replaced them last.
You don't
race.
brake, no.
Yeah. You wimp braking. Yeah, no
Braking's
braking.
for
There's
losers.
no braking in racing. Come on.
So do you think autonomous vehicles will ever be racing on tracks?
No.
Kids
Absolutely not.
People could be sitting in the stands.
I don't
with
think
the
they have, you know,
controllers.
the emotion of the driver is really what drives the car, right? I don't think there's any emotion in an autonomous car.
But there's calculating.
Yeah, calculating, but I think it's gonna veer to the side of safety, right? You know,
But
so
yeah. So it is. It's a sport.
Yeah.
And so if you're running it with a controller or letting it do all the work, you're basically e-gaming. But But it's really a sport where how do you get the edge on your competition? Obviously, not just going fast around the track.
Right. Well, you know, it is. I mean, and I think the emotion side of it would be hard for a non-human to like replicate because. I mean, there's times when these guys are flying up on you. I don't see a computer flying up on you. Maybe, you know, I guess.
But they could
they make
see-
football games, you know, where the quarterback's getting sacked by the, you know,
Right,
by the
that's
robots, you know, and yeah, you know,
The computer has
it's a
the
great
ability
question.
to calculate better than humans most of the time.
Yeah.
A lot of times. you
Yeah.
know, but
Well, you know, I guess time will tell.
Right.
I mean, I know autonomous cars are going crazy on the outside of the track.
yeah, I guess it's just a matter of like, you know, you go to a racetrack and you kind of like, just like you go to any sporting event, you kind of pick your favorite and you root for the favorite.
Right.
Do you like?
Would you root for the
would you-
car?
For a car, yeah. Exactly.
You know, it always kind of reminds me of like Michael Knight of
Yeah,
the you
yeah.
know Knight Rider days.
right.
We're kidding
Kit
that.
car.
Yeah,
kit car.
Yeah, and you know, Michael, you know, probability says, you know.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And so, you know, a car could say, okay, I see this opening and I see their trajectories. I can like gun it and swing around and get through something
That's
like
really interesting.
And, but still, it's like, I mean, you'd have to find a way. So it's like, you'd be rooting for like, well, I like this sponsor. I like this type of car. And that's where it actually goes. That's where, I mean, it would take a lot of the emotion out of it.
Yeah,
obviously.
to replicate that would be difficult.
But the one thing that I would wonder about would be, you know, so you spun off the track, and your teammates spun off the track.
Right.
You know, can AI, like with my car, you know, my car tells me, well, your treads are getting low on your tires. I'm like, how does it even know that? You know, it's
How
like,
does your car even
you
know
know,
that?
did you ever get one of these notices?
I've
You
never
have the same
gotten one of
kind
those,
car.
and I've
Yeah.
changed my set of tires twice now.
I'm like, you're not sticking like a penny in the tread to see if you can see
Right.
Lincoln's head.
Yeah, right. I don't know how
So-
it would actually like
But
develop that.
So is a car capable of saying, okay, these are the driving conditions. It's 45 degrees out. I got this type of rubber.
yeah.
Calculations
There's some
tell me that this
satellite
could
looking
happen, right?
down on that
Right.
track or that
Some like
that
thermal
road.
kind of
Right.
like sensor or something.
Yeah, well, and I know it can tell like how much you
Grade
go
and
up,
banking
grade
and-
and bank, and yeah, it's an interesting concept. But autonomous cars are obviously hitting the outside. I mean, I use mine all the time.
Right. And they just keep getting better, obviously, just like
Mainly,
everything.
I
So-
use mine on the highway. In town, it's I override it so much, and it annoys me that I'm like, hey, I just want to get to that spot, stop braking behind that guy, and yeah, I mean, it's a good question on that.
So, on the topic of autonomous vehicles, I was curious, and so I had asked Claude about details regarding safety on these autonomous driving vehicles, because and instead of asking my favorite grok,
Yeah, you had to
Yeah.
ask the Frenchmen, right?
I
Because they
wanted-
know
yeah.
everything. At least they think they do, right?
is Claude? I don't know. if Claude is actually French, but Anthropic, the company, doesn't sound French, but
Oui, oui. My name is
it's
Claude.
like, yeah, I got le
How would
car.
you like a croissant?
So
Because they can't say croissant. They got to say croissant.
croissant. I go dépêchez-vous in my car.
In your autonomous car, eat my croissant.
So so looking at safety and just out of curiosity, and not asking Grok, just because I wanted to make sure I had non-biased information.
Yeah.
Presuming that Claude is non-biased, but you never know where they grab their content from. So, anyways, based on the latest research and data, here's your information on autonomous versus human-driven car safety. The good news for robots. Recent studies show autonomous vehicles are generally safer than human drivers in most scenarios. A 2024 Nature's Communications study found AVs have lower crash rates in most situations, with Waymo reporting an 88% reduction in property damage claims and 92% reduction in bodily injury claims over 25.3 million autonomous miles driven.
Well, it's funny you say that because I had a debate with a friend of mine one time, other than you, of course, and it was talking about how like this autonomous car thing was going to hit, and I was like, God, it's got to be safer than 99% of the people out there because they drive like crap.
Depending on what city you live in.
Yeah, they drive like crap. I'm just saying. I mean, I think they drive like. I guess I drive
Right.
like crap. I hit a rubber wall not too long ago. So, but I can see this. And I can see. The computer, I think, is going to make better situational adjustments than what humans will, based on the data that's coming at them. Don't get me wrong; the human brain processes a lot of data, and they process, all the time. But yeah, I could see this.
I mean, these Teslas that you and I drive, I mean, I love it because, if you ever everyone's been stuck behind people at lights that turn green,
Yeah.
and the person's screwing around on their phone or whatever.
Yeah.
And these cars are so aware of everything around them. It'll tell you like, if the person in front of you has a directional on, it'll tell you if the person 2 cars up in the other lane has a directional on. But also, I love it when the light turns green, my car goes ding. I'm sure.
Yeah,
yours does
I
too.
have that set too because, and I don't touch my phone that much, when I'm driving because really on the Tesla, everything that you need is in that screen in the middle or
Right.
in front of you.
Yeah, it's kind of a huge tablet
Yeah, right.
sitting in front of you.
So, and I did, talking about that, I have gotten my privileges of autonomous taken away from me for a 24-hour period.
And why would that be?
Because I was looking off the road and looking at that screen, and it was like, first time it's like, and then it gave me a warning. Then the second time it was like, and then I'm like, Well, shit. And I probably picked up my phone or did something. It was like, you're banned for 24 hours. So
Because there's a camera, there's an internal camera right above the mirror.
And it's watching your eyes
That's
all
watching
the
you
time.
and seeing.
Yeah.
It's very intelligent stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, when you look at the technology that goes into that. I was just talking to my wife about this yesterday. Imagine if your grandfather came back and he was sitting in the back seat of your car and your car was driving itself and there was all these things going on the screen and all this data being processed, and imagine it'd blow his mind.
Right? I mean, you're going in it's 360 degrees of data being collected at all times.
Right.
It's very impressive.
It is.
So can you program, I never tried this, but can you program your car to like honk at people when they're pissing you off on the road?
No, that would be nice though.
Especially the person at the red light. At least give them the boom, boom,
Yeah.
It's like,
well, the one thing I hate about my Tesla is the horn is not here, right? The horn is a button. And it's like, in the heat of everything, your mind is so used, and turn signals piss me off too, by the way.
Right.
In the heat of something and you're trying to get someone's attention, you're like, oh shit,
That's a
no,
good
it's
point.
a button, It's like, I mean, at what point do you realize like, hey, that's a dumb idea, because people are programmed to do that. But I guess that's more of an Elon Musk thing, right? It's like,
yeah, I don't know.
and it's retractable handles and stuff that
I know I've
bite
played
your
with
fingers off.
the honk noises, so I know I've like honked my horn.
Yeah.
But I can't remember if I did it on the steering wheel or on
Mine is a button.
on the button. Maybe I did the button. I'm not sure.
It's annoying as hell.
Uh-huh.
It's annoying as hell. Hey, Tesla, cut the button shit out.
But some of those learned conventions, and I don't know. Obviously, I don't know if like all the EVs are like this, but when you get used to driving cars, usually you've got your windshield wipers on the right, the stick on the right.
There's not.
But that's
that's a button too. Like,
that's like,
and
for
I get
me,
it. They're saving a lot of money by doing it that way. They're not having to injection mold this or manufacture this into the column or whatever. And I totally get the whole like, but there is a safety factor in there, right? And I mean, looking at autonomous vehicles, you're making so many strides here. Don't take away some of the basic stuff.
There have been so many times I've been cruising on the road and it'll start raining or something, then I'll hit the right arm, and all of a sudden it'll like beep at me because that'd be like put in reverse.
Oh,
so
I didn't realize yours is on the column, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, I had no idea. Mine is a swipe of a finger, a swipe down, a swipe to go backwards, a swipe up to go.
Oh, on the screen?
Yeah, on the screen.
Okay, well maybe you could do that too. There are a lot of ways you can do it.
Also, there's a little bar at the bottom, like.
And, that's I'm talking about changing gears. So mine is changing gears, but on most cars, the right arm is for the windshield wiper.
Your Tesla is changing gears?
Yeah, that's how I change gears. Is on the right arm.
Mine doesn't have that.
Oh, really?
Mine's a swipe of a finger.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe you do that on the tablet also. But
yeah.
You can
interesting.
You
should
do a lot of different things. I mean,
and then
a lot
I got
of times,
little buttons here that I can push that are always hidden. You don't even know they're there unless you hit them by accident. But I mean, there's a lot of. And don't get me wrong, I love my Tesla. I love the car for what it is. I mean, I like driving cars hard, and I've got a couple of cars that I drive hard. But for sheer comfort, and I don't mean comfort of the seats. I mean comfort of this autonomous driving. I think the Tesla is just such a great technology. You're driving a computer is what you're doing.
It's the car reimagined in so many different ways.
It is.
And the pickup never gets old.
Yeah, I did notice my update the other day talking about Grok. Updated for Grok.
Oh, really?
It said Grok
nice.
is now internal of your car, and I'm wondering what that means. Like, can I go, "Hey Grok,"
And maybe because maybe that's part of the voice commands. And one of the cool things is that you can use voice commands for a lot of different things in your car.
Yeah, and I haven't tried that except for open glove compartment.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I ask for music,
Do you really?
all kinds of stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Huh.
So anyways, well, getting back to my list.
Yes, the autonomous vehicles. Let's go back to autonomous vehicles.
The bad news for robots.
Yeah.
Self-driving cars struggle in two specific situations. They are 5.25 times more likely to crash at dawn or dusk,
Okay.
and nearly twice as likely to crash while turning compared to humans. Their sensors can't adapt quickly to changing light conditions and lack the situational awareness humans have during complex maneuvers, which is interesting that it's talking about light, because I always kind of envision like some kind of LiDAR, like infrared.
Yeah,
type of, like,
well,
sensor
and I
thing.
thought Teslas used to have a radar system, but
Mm-hmm.
now they've removed that and use it strictly cameras.
Strictly cameras, and
Yeah.
so that's interesting. So I mean, it's getting good enough that it can use pictures instead of
Right.
the infrared stuff, and so that's very that's pretty interesting though, just to say so. And that's an argument, kind of like what you were saying. It's great. You love it on the expressway.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, on the expressway, it's nice to just chill out, watch. I drove it to Florida. Actually, I drove it down to Florida by hand before I was like used to this whole system when I first got it, and then I drove it home with the autonomous driving. At that time, you had to keep a hand on the wheel, which was annoying as hell.
Really?
But,
So it has
yeah,
a sensor.
I put a leg weight on
Like a
it. One of
treadmill.
those
It knew
leg
when you were
weights
like,
so
nah.
that it would give enough
yeah.
movement to the wheel that it thought your hand was on it. But, I didn't do that, Tesla. I didn't wreck the car.
Yeah. Right.
But, yeah. So I ended up buying a couple of leg weights. Now, I have no idea where they went, but whatever.
So the next one,
Yeah.
it's nothing sexual,
Yeah.
but it says rear end champions.
Well,
Got a nice ass on that car.
yeah, right.
So AVs are significantly better at avoiding rear end collisions, about 54% lower, and T-bone
T-bones.
accidents, and 83% lower risk. Waymo has never rear-ended another vehicle hard enough to cause injury.
And I can see
Impressive.
that because, with it driving autonomously, it brakes way before it needs to. Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess the car thinks it should brake. And T-bones, I guarantee it's looking more, it's taking out that human error, right?
And there is a calculus to that, I guess.
Yeah.
Just like I know that, if I'm approaching a car too quickly, my car starts like alerting me with this like, shocking noise, right?
Way
And
before
you
it
think,
should.
What was that about?
Yeah,
right?
my wife and I look at that and it's like, and it's like, and we look at each other like, what are we even near?
Right?
What
Right?
did it pick up?
And so you never know. I mean, maybe kind of like it's seeing stuff that you're not seeing. Kind of
Yeah,
like
maybe.
there was that.
Well, and hence why I think this T-bone accident thing's gone down, right? Because it's reading the traffic going by,
Right.
and it's reading what where the next car is. It's amazing how many cars my car sees that I'm like, oh, there's like 6 cars behind me. There's 3 over there, and I'm like,
It's amazing.
And then I add up. I'm like, is this how the layout is? And I'm
Everything
like,
you can
it's-
see.
Yeah,
you can
everything
see a
it's seeing.
truck. You
Yeah.
can even see
it
it when
even
it like
shows the truck,
Right.
like it shows the it's not like the old football
Right.
game
Yeah,
where it's
like
like
a
a
little
blip.
dot. Yeah.
Right. Here's the blip. Oh, I got a blip there, blip there. No, it's a truck. It's a car. It's a minivan. It's a
And you'll notice sometimes when it sees a vehicle coming, sometimes it can start out as a car.
Yeah,
but then it notices that it's a
transforms.
truck and it'll like
Yeah.
adjust itself.
Transformers.
Right?
Yeah.
And so you can see traffic cones, you can see people, you can see all kinds
barrels.
of stuff.
It knows
right?
when the yellow or the orange barrels are out.
You can
Yeah.
tell like
What
the
gets
car
me-
next to you.
I have to
what-
tell
if
you
they're
one thing
directional
that does
signs.
impress me about these autonomous cars, right? Is it knowing when it's like the lanes are coming down, right? Like if you're on the highway and they drop it down to one lane, you can still use it in autonomous mode, and it'll go. If you're in the lane that's going to be blocked, it'll get over because it knows that it's going to be blocked.
It doesn't wait for the zipper merge to come to the end.
No,
or-
it just moves over and,
Okay.
and takes it.
yeah.
But yeah,
That's interesting.
Really, really interesting.
Because it's got all of the the DOTs around America have some great reporting, something going on because between not just Tesla, all the different driving apps.
Right.
They know exactly what's going on.
Right.
And I even checked once. I was driving down the road and I could see it said something like 55 miles an hour. And then I saw a sign coming up where it was changing. And then as soon as it like hit that, say it was going down to 45,
Yeah, right.
instantaneously, right at that point, it was so precise, it was unbelievable.
Right. Well, but then you get the option when we were in the car the one time.
Right.
And we went under an overpass, and it picked up a 35-mile-an-hour speed limit on the overpass above me, and then slowed the car on the highway.
That was a freaky situation,
Yeah.
especially on a fast road.
Which now we know that there's improvements there, right? You know,
Right.
like I was telling you about in Milwaukee, there's an overpass, and every time I'd put it on autonomous driving, and we'd be going over this overpass, and every time it'd get this overpass wrong, and it has the ability to like correct it. Like, why did you turn off the autonomous driving? And then you go, at this overpass, it does this, blah, blah, blah. Months later, I was doing the same thing. They had fixed the problem. Now the car was reading the overpass the correct way.
It seems like the cars are always updating. I mean, it's so you have this persistent internet connection, I
Yeah.
think, you know, you'll see it. Your car's going to update. Do you want to update it now, or do you want to do it at 1 a.m. or something?
Right.
And you see these updates happening all the time, which is obviously a great thing, and it's very important, especially for the autonomous part, to be as accurate as possible.
Totally.
And it's interesting. So, you know, you've seen these cameras, this camera in my car, which is this Hive Mapper system, which takes thousands of pictures as you drive down the road. And some of these AV, these autonomous driving vehicle companies, are looking at all of these images and starting to buy into this massive library.
Right.
Massive library. I mean, it's a huge world out there, right? And like you've got all these different drivers like myself who are collecting all this data all this time.
Right.
And
just it's
right?
improving the roads. It's improving the way it reads the roads. It's improving all of.
Because you can't really use Google Street View because Google Street View may come around every 3 years or something.
Right. Right.
You know, in some
You
roads.
can't hit all those, but now is a way to take that data real time and affect it real time.
Right. And
Where
so
it was only, like you said, every 3 years.
right. And so things change a lot.
It's probably saving energy too, because you're not having to run the gas or whatever it is, and you know you're using other people's data. I mean,
Right.
there's a lot of streets.
There are a lot of streets.
Yeah,
Trillions of miles
And
out
here's
there, I'm
one,
sure.
you know, that in the U.S., you know, we have like the lines, and I always wondered when I was in Europe. You know, there's places where the streets are so narrow and there's no lines in the road, and you know, I always wonder how the autonomous cars work over there in comparison to the United States, because that data set of the lines in the road seems to disappear over there more than I think it does over here.
Right. And just, you know, so I think this is my guess. Obviously, I've had no idea. I'm not a civil engineer or anything, but I presume.
Play one on TV.
Yeah. I'll play one on YouTube today.
Yeah.
But these roads have to be defined, just like it knew exactly when it changed to 45 miles an hour.
Yeah.
It must be able to report back to the system to say, okay, this is a 4-lane expressway.
Right.
This is some weird, like, kind of like configuration that says, just like this one road in our area, you know, it's the only road like this. So it's, to me, I think to do one road like this is just stupid because people don't know what to do when they get on it. But it's like, you know, it's a tight road. There's parking. There was parking on both sides, and there still is parking. But then there's a dedicated bike lane area.
Oh, yeah.
And then instead of having one lane of traffic going in each direction, it's just one big open lane in the middle. So it's just like you're kind of on your own, just negotiate around whatever's in your way.
Yeah.
And it's like, as an autonomous car, I guess, that's all just sensor figuring out, making sure you're not going to hit someone.
Yeah, and you know, add a trolley in there and whatever else, and the data set's got to be huge just to analyze this road on what's the safest way to proceed.
Because and so probably too, like you said, you know, when you have merging lanes, like you're going from 2 lanes to 1 lane or whatever.
Yeah.
all that data's got to be pumped into the autonomous
You
vehicle.
imagine, you know, the data storage and the data, you know, analyzing capability there is just, it blows my mind.
It's more than
Blows my mind.
terabytes. You know, when you include all the images that we're getting off a Hive Map or whatever else is being
Right.
used for this stuff,
Right.
it's unbelievable. I mean, it's, you know, I mean, just think about how many roads are in your metropolitan area and multiply that by thousands or millions.
Right. Well, and if this data is correct and it's processing, it's saving lives in a roundabout. I mean, there's 40,000 American lives that are taken in car crashes annually.
Right.
So if you're saying this is dropping down to 88% of property damage, I'm kind of, so is that like we could save, 36,000 lives here?
It's amazing, right? Because, so the death toll context is one of the headers here. Over 40,000 Americans die in car crashes annually, about 110 each day. Even modest improvements in AV safety could prevent hundreds of thousands of deaths over the next generation. That's impressive, right? And especially since we're not having as many kids anymore.
Right.
We need all the people.
We need all the people we can get.
I want so
other than China.
Okay, so you've used your autonomous vehicle to drive down the expressway. You've done city driving. So I wonder what it's like when you're going down some of these, like a back road, say gravel back road, and all of a sudden there's like a 1 foot hole in the road.
Yeah, well, it's not going to avoid the hole. No, it's not going to avoid the hole. But I've had that before where I was driving down a road and
with the autonomous self-driving.
Yeah, right. And then I just override it once I see the hole in the road or the bump or whatever. Speed bumps too.
Oh yeah, speed humps
that's another,
and speed bumps.
Yeah, that's another area where I think it fails. I also think it fails in roundabouts because for some reason in our state they can't analyze a roundabout to save their lives. Everyone wants to stop at the yield.
Right. I've seen people stop in the middle of it.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I
saw it yesterday. I'm like, what are you doing? And my wife is like, what is he doing? I'm like, I don't know.
It's
the confusion,
that's crazy, right?
Yeah, it makes no sense.
So talking about this, so there's a public trust crisis. This is, the difference between, reality and impression versus
and is this
reality,
the trust from inside the car or is this the trust from outside the car?
So this is what it tells me. Despite safety improvements, 68% of Americans fear self-driving cars, which is up from 55% a couple of years ago, and only 13% trust them. So you're a part of that 13%.
Yeah.
Only 37% would ride in one as a passenger. So I'm a part of that 37%.
That would probably be like with no one driving or no one at the helm, right?
That could be. Meanwhile, in China, 51% are looking forward to them. So you said that you were talking to one of your friends and having this debate on safety,
right,
autonomous driving, right?
I think his term was like, it can't be any worse than what's out there anyways.
Right, because there are a lot of idiots out there.
And
a lot of people who aren't
look
paying
at it,
attention.
I'm like, the data kind of shows that. It can't be any worse than the idiots that are out there already.
Because it only takes one person to screw up thousands of people in traffic. That's for sure.
Well, and I go to like aviation because I'm a pilot as well, and you look at it, and 95% of airplane fatalities are due to what, Chris?
Human error,
pilot error, right?
Okay.
The rest of it is engine failure, whatever else, but most of it is human error, right? So you take that human error out of it and or you lessen the human error aspect and you're going to get lives saved, right?
So when you're using this autopilot, I mean, I've seen you use it up in the air before.
Yeah.
But can you say, okay, I'm going to go from this airport to this airport and have it take off for you? You have to take off yourself.
You have to take off. You have to land it. I mean, it can get within I think Garmin is 200 feet of the runway now. So it'll bring it all the way down and bring it all the way up. Well, and I think the other day I was flying a Cirrus and I jumped in there and I think I hit autopilot about 200 feet off the ground and then rolled it to go up. It's funny. I was telling you about sitting at the end of the runway, and everything is a highway in the sky too. But really, the Garmin systems and the nav systems of today's pilots really save a lot of lives. And we've come a long way since I first started flying in the 90s. Yeah, like 91, I think I got my license or something. 1991. Not 1891. But, you know,
There are many planes back
yeah,
then.
right. I was with Wilbur and Orville. Yeah. But, you know, they basically have highways and you set it, and, you know, if you're flying on an IFR, which is an instrument flight plan, you set it to go in a direction, take this turn, take that turn. And that's where I think a lot of the autonomous cars have taken their lessons from them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because pretty much in the sky, you know, like I know that Airbus is mainly autonomous now. Boeing is somewhat autonomous.
Okay.
And it's just being overseen by the pilots themselves, which is like what happens in, you know, the small planes that are glass cockpits, which mean that they don't have any of the old gauges.
And the override is real simple. It's almost probably like, I mean, is the override easy? Like, so you got it on autopilot.
It depends.
Like, crap,
it depends
I
on
gotta
what
change
the
something.
override is, right? You know, because they can completely change your flight plan, which they did to me on the runway the other day. Because an hour before, I was like, oh, I'm going to be proactive on this. I'm going to put my flight plan in. I know I'm leaving at 9 o'clock, and I get to the end of the runway, and they're like, yo, get ready for our updated flight plan. I'm like, oh shit. So I start writing all this stuff down, and I'm like, go to there, go to there, go this, go this, go this. And it was like
And
10
you
other
program
steps.
this into the autopilot?
Yeah, you program it into the autopilot. So it was 10 other steps than the one I had laid out. Go to this, and there was like 4 steps. They gave me 10 steps. So then, you know, right there, I have to delete everything that's on there. I have to enter in all 10 steps. I have to say what these steps need to be doing. And then, you know, I was like, hey, you're gonna have to give me a second. So he canceled my clearance to take off. I put it all in. Take off, and I get like 500 feet, and they're like, go direct flying cloud. So now they've taken the entire thing, and they've stripped out the 10 steps after the 4 steps,
So
and
what
now
do
I'm
you
direct
cancel?
flying cloud.
You cancel the autopilot at that point.
No, because the autopilot's already running. I just switch it from nav to heading, and then I delete everything, and I go direct flying cloud.
Okay.
You know, and that's
Okay.
Minnesota, if any of you.
So when you're lifting off,
yeah.
so I think you told me before that it's kicked in at like 200 feet or so altitude.
Well, you can. I kicked in the Cirrus at 200 feet just to kind of see what it would do. Yeah, I mean, you can kick it in anywhere. You know, a lot of it is you'll just go on a heading, and then you'll kick it into your nav mode, which will read the computer basically.
But so like to turn it off, is it as easy as turn it off cruise control?
Yeah, I mean, there's a button on the yoke, and there's a button. You know, there's several ways to turn it off.
I would think it's got to be,
but it's not
you gotta
like
have control.
It's not like like the Tesla where you break it, like you break the cycle by turning the yoke or anything, because you're just forcing against all the components that are making that plane turn. Yeah.
So that's interesting.
It's interesting, but that has the same relevancy as this does, and that saves lives. I mean, we're saving thousands of lives, even though there has been a lot of airplane incidents in the last, probably the last couple years. I mean, my buddies and I send them back and forth to each other. Like, you know, there was one the other day that a guy landed on a car in Florida.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a poor lady, you know, and my buddy was like, he texted this over, and my wife actually saw it, and she goes, what happened there? And I'm like,
landed on a car.
He landed on a car, and my buddy was like, no gas. And I'm like, and he goes, 2 idiots. And I'm like, 2 idiots? I'm like, well, the lady didn't know they were going to land on her. And I said, the car or the plane, I'm like, how do you know it doesn't have any gas? And he goes, no fire. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. There's no fire.
Yeah.
So it ran out of gas. So
I mean,
we'll
did
see
they
if that's the
survive?
case. All of them survived. The lady had some minor injuries, from what I've read. It
Little
was
hood damage.
little roof damage, I think it was.
Too
but
bad she wouldn't have had one of those big old Lincolns from 1975.
thank God they're all right, right? You know, but you know, this is that whole 95% pilot error, right?
And so with the Garmin thing, so I mean, flying is, you know, having this whole cruise control autopilot kind of thing. I mean, that's like a 3D game, as opposed to like,
Oh, it totally
it's
is.
a 2D thing on the road.
It totally is. I mean,
Yeah.
and that's like when you go into IMC or cloud cover, right?
Right. And so if
it's
you're
all
like-
you're watching the
yeah.
screen. You're not even watching outside.
I mean, does it know if there are other planes nearby you?
Oh yeah, I mean, ADS-B is really what tells you where those planes are, and some planes have radar and things like that. But ADS-B, every plane in the United States that is flying into controlled airspace. I mean, we define this, right? And I'm sure someone's going to correct me on whatever I say. It's like, but into controlled airspace has to have ADS-B, which is meaning it's reporting back your position to every plane that's in that area. And if you look, there'll be a screen that has like, my map has, this plane is 1,200 feet negative, this plane is 1,200 feet positive. So it'll tell you where the plane is altitude-wise.
Yeah.
And then it'll tell you, where the plane is in position to where you're at and the direction of travel, right?
Okay.
So you can make, all, and this isn't every plane, because some of these planes can be flying around at airports that you don't know about that don't have ADS-B, but they don't fly into controlled airspace.
Okay.
So, but mainly, I'd say that's now 95% of planes out there. And someone probably correct me on this,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, it's interesting. Once the smartphones started coming around and providing GPS services basically for driving and everything.
yeah.
I at that time I was wondering, what's going to happen with Garmin, because we used to always have these Garmin
Oh,
things.
yeah.
But they have, you see Garmin on planes, obviously.
Garmin is killing
Huge.
it.
And boats.
Yep.
You see them on boats. And
Yep.
and they actually have watches also, I know.
Oh, yeah. I got
so-
one on now.
So yeah, they're still
Brand
doing
new.
fine. Okay.
Yeah.
And so what does a Garmin watch give you, by the way?
A little bit of everything. It gives you like workout details. It gives
Okay.
you, mine has a light.
It's not just directions. Oh,
Yeah.
nice. There you go.
And believe it or not, if I can turn it off.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, the light's very handy. I used it today, but especially for
imagine.
people that are like, getting older and.
Eyes are a little don't adjust as well to the light anymore, right?
But yeah, it really does everything. Positioning, your travel. Mine I use for biking or running or swimming or diving. It's
it's
amazing.
waterproof?
Garmin is, in my personal opinion, on the cutting edge of almost everything at this point.
Right.
You
That's
know?
interesting. Yeah. So they're kind of like
They're
for
the
most
lead.
of us,
I think
they're kind of a
the leader.
silent technology company,
man.
right? I mean,
I tell ya.
they've got a big footprint in technology out
And
there. but no
their
one sees
stuff
them
is
as
not
much, right?
cheap. Like my plane has about $120,000 worth of Garmin equipment in it.
Wow.
And that's just a
What
little
about your
plane.
boat? Your boat? Does it have Garmin?
My boat has Raytheon. Or not
Okay.
Raytheon. Can't remember. It's the
Some other defense
Marine,
contractor thing?
yeah.
No? Okay. So anyways,
Ray Marine. I'm sorry. Ray Marine stuff on it.
So the regulatory mess. There's no federal pre-approval process for AVs.
Right.
Regulators mostly use recall authority after incidents occur. California leads with over 1,600 reported crashes involving self-driving vehicles.
So would that number be 10,000 statistically speaking by what
I
we're
think
looking at?
it'd be closer to 16,000, right?
Right.
I mean, if it was
right.
human driven.
Oh yeah, right. 16,000.
Yeah,
so
so-
now you're down to 1,600. I mean,
14,400 different.
we got to see the inverse data of that, right? It might be that we're wrong here, but
Yeah, I think that there's a lot to say about that. And, that was one of the things, like when I first got my Tesla, I was wondering, there's this car, I got this new car and it's got the self-driving capability. It's got the summons capability.
sure.
You ever use the summons
No,
capability?
I've never used it. My wife won't let me.
Really?
Yeah,
In
I'm
a
like,
crowded
hey,
parking lot?
let's let it pick us up here at Home Depot. Don't you dare.
So just so everyone knows, if you don't know what it is, on your Tesla app, and I presume on other electric vehicle cars with the autonomous driving, you can summons your car, and if it's in some big parking lot, it'll back out and come to you,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool. But
But see, I have a chauffeur,
Yeah.
so
that
no,
gets
I don't.
that gets back to the whole public trust crisis.
Right. Right.
You know,
Well, and I
it's-
could see that that would be somewhat worrisome. It is to my wife, but
Uh-huh.
she worries about everything.
Yeah. It's just you're giving up this control that you're used to having, and it's
Right.
like it only takes one time to be wrong to wreck your day.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
so one of the things that Claude had, your Frenchman Claude,
Yeah.
was it sure raved about Waymo, and actually Grok. I did test it on Grok. Grok had some good reviews on Waymo also, and so here's another section of data here. Waymo's impressive record in nearly 100 million rider-only miles through June of 2025 across Phoenix, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and Austin. Waymo AVs had 91% fewer serious injury or fatal crashes, 80% fewer injury-causing crashes, and 96% fewer intersection injuries compared to human drivers on the same roads. Plus, 92% fewer pedestrian injuries and 83% fewer cyclist motorcycle crashes. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
I mean, that's more than
Yeah, I mean, we're
90%.
saving lives here, you know, by using computers.
Because I always wondered, like with my insurance company, you know, I get this car, and they never say, "Well, you're using self-driving, you're doing this," but you know, because I thought, well, maybe they would charge you more if you use the self-driving because you're not in control, you're giving up control of your vehicle.
Right.
But from this data, I think their silence is telling, in that they say, well, if they are using self-driving, there's a 90% chance they'll do a lot better or whatever, you know?
Right,
They'll
right.
do- so-
To me, statistically speaking, it looks like this is saving lives, and this is definitely decreasing all the problems of regular, you know, human actions are.
And especially with like the taxis and everything that's coming out.
Yeah.
I mean, so the taxis, which is interesting because your Tesla doesn't let you just sit in the back seat and let it drive. But these taxis that are coming out, that's basically the situation.
Right, yeah.
They're like two-seater cars,
right.
which I think
didn't
is
know there were
interesting.
two-seater cars.
I think, yeah, at least some of them.
Oh, I've seen
there are
like,
some Teslas.
the Jaguars
Yeah.
and things that have the. I think it's the Waymo
Yeah.
that's in it.
I think some of the Tesla taxi things, or maybe it's Waymo, they're just two, you know, it's just a smaller car, two seats, you know, in front because there's no back.
Sure.
And you just jump in and let it go.
Yeah.
And so that's, you know, to me, that makes a lot of
Do
sense.
you jump
it's just
in the
like we're
driver's
talking-
seat at all? That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, right. You
I'd be
jump
like-
in the driver's seat, but there's no steering wheel.
Yeah.
maybe there's a control panel,
Yeah.
like a tablet or something. But
I'll have to look up this Waymo thing a little bit more.
so Waymo has also started testing its autonomous vehicles with safety monitor in Philadelphia, and will start manual driving to collect data in Baltimore, St. Louis, and Pittsburgh. I'm sure the manual driving is to learn the roads. You know, they're probably zipping up and down every road.
Sure.
Getting to know
Right.
every road. And so Waymo, so here's something interesting from San Francisco. So Waymo right now is presumed can claim to have the youngest rider of all time in its autonomous vehicles, because just recently a woman gave birth in a Waymo car en route to a San Francisco hospital. But
I'm going to pass on going in that car because you don't know where you're sitting.
so do you have? Yeah, that's an interesting point. I mean, it's like these cars. If you're going to set up these cars, and you're not, you know, it's like everything's probably like easy to clean. You know, it's like
Yeah.
me. I have a vacation rental, and the rule is you make everything super durable. You make it easy to clean because you can't be cleaning it all
Right.
the time and stuff. And so you have to wonder, when a woman's water breaks.
Yeah. Who's cleaning that shit up?
Right.
It isn't me.
Was she stuck in traffic? Could you imagine? You're like
Right.
stuck in traffic.
Did
and-
Waymo
and
actually
someone's-
deliver the baby?
Waymo did not, although I think their car had intelligence in it to alert the people at Waymo that there was an issue going on, and maybe at that point they can jump on a monitor.
Did
and
they
talk
get
to
on the
person.
monitor and go, breathe, 1, 2,
I think
3,
right.
breathe?
It's like, come on, you're doing great. Come on. It's like- so they have, I think they called 911 and
Yeah,
everything.
right.
But I think the woman and her baby, her newly born baby. I guess
I would have named the baby
probably
Waymo.
right. Exactly. At least the middle name.
Where'd you
right?
come up with the name?
Yeah. This is my son, AV. What's up, AV?
Yeah. Waymo.
So anyways,
what a cute boy. What's his name?
Yeah, right. His name is AV.
Waymo.
Yeah, Waymo AV. So they get to the hospital safely.
Good.
And
Well, I'm
that's
glad
that.
she's all right. I'm glad the baby's all right, and Waymo's doing well there.
Right. That's an interesting story. So
Yeah.
newborn in the Waymo car.
Talking about
Waymo-
autonomous. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, so Waymo has also made headlines in recent days for announcing plans to update its software in response to several incidents in Texas, during which the company's driverless cars failed to stop for school buses that were dropping off children. So I don't know how you miss a school bus.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's big and yellow.
And then a lot of times they flip out that stop sign.
Yeah,
and-
right.
Yeah,
That actually, I think that stop, like arm for kids
Yeah.
to walk around, was actually developed here in Wisconsin.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so...
But from
so-
a boy being killed. But yeah.
So you have to wonder, how does it miss a school bus? I mean, is it just that it can't,
Maybe
it can't be because
maybe it
it's like
thinks
too
it can
tall or
go
something?
around and it can't read the arm. The arm coming
Maybe.
out with the stop sign.
With all the complex things they're doing, I'm sure that this is an
That'll
easy
eventually
issue to
get
resolve,
fixed, right? I guess it obviously maybe did already.
Right.
Yeah.
So here's something
Yeah.
on autonomous vehicles.
Yeah.
Cars aren't the only thing on the road.
Right.
There's a lot of money being invested in the prospect of self-driving semis.
Self-driving semis. Yeah.
Yes, and when we so this is the weird thing, when we talk about regulatory thing, because all these DOTs, federally, statewide, they have to figure out how to handle it. This is a new thing, right?
Right. Right.
And do you just automatically grant? You say, I mean, like you're
Right.
driving your car, having your car like drive itself. It's like there's no rule against it, so it's totally legal.
Yeah.
But some of these state legislatures may want to start putting restrictions, or you never know. It'd be nice to have a federal law.
Yeah, just kidding. We
'cause
all
everyone's-
know they
yeah,
like to
right?
put restrictions on absolutely everything we
Right.
do.
And so
hey,
the good,
don't
yeah.
breathe, and we'll put a restriction on that.
And usually legislation comes from human stupidity. So the good thing, so the one thing that may make people hesitant for restrictions is that we're not dealing with human stupidity. We're dealing with intelligent vehicles.
Right.
So that could be a benefit. Obviously, the track record sure makes it sound pretty good right now, but
Sure.
it would really suck. I mean, I love the concept of federalism, where the states make the rules.
Sure.
Minimize anything from the federal government. But it would be kind of tough, if every state legislature started making its own rules, saying, well, you can't use, self-driving cars here or in this type of situation or whatever, because some of it could be political, number one,
Right.
as opposed to rational law. And
Well,
so,
on trucks, they actually already have that. Like there's certain, here in like the upper north area, there's certain roads that semis are not allowed to go on. They're
right.
They're prohibited on
Partly because of weight loads, right?
weight loads and crushing that road and like having problems going forward with the road.
Right.
But so they're going to have to. There are already some restrictions on regular, so they're going to have to enforce those on semis. Which I think it would be easier to block out a semi from going down that, or autonomous vehicle than a human.
Right.
I saw one get pulled over the other day, and I was like, "You're not supposed to be on this road, dude."
Oh, really?
Yep.
And so when you get to semis,
Yep.
obviously those are much more regulated than a lot of the cars are because of the trucking industry and stuff. So the California Department of Motor Vehicles recently revised its rules that allow companies to test and eventually deploy self-driving trucks on public highways in the state.
Uh-huh.
Now, I know some other companies are testing them in other states also, and maybe there's some other states that are a little looser. I think Texas may be one of them. They got a lot of big open roads, so maybe people can feel a little safer there. Maybe they say, well, you can test your vehicles, but it's got to be out in the panhandle of Texas, or just
restrict them to a
western
certain
Texas,
area where
right?
that is the case.
So So there
It
are
would be a little weird, like driving down the road and looking at a semi and going, "There's no driver in that semi."
right. You know,
That is awkward.
and I watched some of these videos. There was one company, Waabi, that I was looking at. I was watching all their videos on it, and you know, they're talking about the intelligence behind it. They're using AI to drive these trucks, and obviously the sensors and everything. And so the trucks, it showed the trucks merging in on like these zipper merges that you're talking about,
Sure.
like where you're going from 2 lanes down to 1 lane, and how it like works its way in. And that's got to be, it's just insane.
Yeah.
And, you know, but the stakes are high for, you know, in the event that there's an error.
Right.
And so, I mean, you know, these trucks,
Yeah, it only takes
these companies
one.
are going to be.
Where then
like,
the regulatory like knocks them down, and I'm sure there's going to be incidents. I mean,
Right.
there's incidents in everything. You can't be 100% foolproof.
I mean, this could be great for the trucking industry, though, right?
Right.
Because one of the biggest things, you look at these truck drivers, and I mean, number one, California obviously just had that big, and the state of Washington were just exposed for giving all these illegal aliens who can't even speak English or read English,
Right.
commercial licenses to be able to drive trucks.
And then they're driving all over the U.S.
Right. And so, like, if you start having autonomous vehicles deliver freight, number one, they're not going to get tired. You know, it's
Right.
like you have to wonder how, you know, if they, I presume these things gas
Well, then you
up.
look at, and we're talking about this, right? Like, so is it going to drive down the average incident, but when the incident happens, we're going to microanalyze that incident,
Right.
and then we're going to make, you know, rules based on that one incident and not what the inverse data is
Right.
showing us.
It gets
right?
all of it gets all
Because
the
it
media
gets attention, right?
Like a
You know,
shark
it's like
bite,
anything, right? You know,
Yeah.
it'll be focused on, it'll be, you know, beat up, torn apart, reconstructed, and then
Right,
you're gonna,
exactly.
like, yeah.
And then all these reactionary types of politicians are going to jump in and want to grandstand about different issues.
Right.
And so it's interesting, and you know, they're like everything. They're, you know, these companies are coming up with all different types of uses. So you got semis.
Yeah.
You know, you got the short runs. You know, you could probably see Amazon doing something like this.
Sure, absolutely. I'm
buzzing
surprised
around there, right?
Amazon already hasn't attempted it because they've tried the drone thing, right? Drone delivery.
Right.
Yeah,
And-
which I kind of feel is kind of a crazy thing. But if you read, like, in one of these, I thought this was interesting that, you know, FedEx is actually partnered up with one of these, and it's saving them over $200 million a year.
And I could imagine, right? Because
Yeah.
you're paying, you know, I mean, you're not paying the per mile trucker kind of guy.
Right.
And you're probably getting it there a lot faster because the truck doesn't have to go to sleep.
Yeah. I'm wondering, are these autonomous vehicles or autonomous trucks, semis, are they gas powered or electric?
So that's what I'm wondering. I mean, I don't know that. Are there electric semi trucks?
I know Tesla has been developing one.
Okay.
I mean, just to go back to our Tesla
Right.
thing.
You need some big batteries.
Yeah,
you think
you
about
would
yeah.
think big batteries
Yeah.
and how long does it last and how does it charge and how does it charge itself?
Right.
Um,
I mean, they may have more room for batteries, which is good.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if you look up, and any of you look up the Tesla Semi, and then there's some really good videos online where the driver sits in the middle of the semi, and there's almost a room that he's in that's built around this driver.
Like a game room kind of thing.
Oh,
you can
it's
kick
almost
back,
like,
or-
I mean, it's a cab. His cab is a room, and there's only
Okay.
one chair, and I think there's a couple spectator chairs, right? You know, in there. But yeah, I mean, it's a really neat
no
concept.
room to pick up hitchhikers or anything.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, like, yeah, no. What does it usually say on this side? No, not hired or no hire.
Oh,
or
not for
whatever.
hire or something.
Yeah, not for hire, right.
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 Yeah.
I thought you were going to say something else, but so the but yeah, that's
No
true.
one rides for
Yeah,
free.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Grass.
gas
Yeah.
or ass, right?
No one rides for free. I have a friend that's her dad used to have that bumper sticker on his car. He's an old German guy. Yeah.
So but yeah, so I mean, the truck would have to know when to stop for gas, and it would obviously have the intelligence to say, oh, there's a gas station coming up here, whatever. It pulls in, and
Yeah.
But then you would, then you would obviously need some attendant to pump the gas, I presume, unless
You would think.
it could be some kind of like portal system where
Well, it could be
goes
like
over.
it could be
over a
like
thing.
trash collection now,
Right,
right? That
right.
big arm comes out,
Right,
grabs your
exactly.
can, dumps it in the back, and then puts it back down, right?
You have a smart gas hose. or
Yeah, it
something.
could have this little arm that goes out and you know.
Right. And
Yeah.
so there's that, and then there are other. So like when you think about actually when we talk about the Amazon stuff, the folks delivering Amazon stuff, it's amazing what they do because you can order something in the morning, get it in the afternoon, and that. But I have a high frequency where I'm like chasing my packages around the neighborhood.
Oh,
like the
really?
post office.
I don't really have
You
that
know,
much of a problem, but
so it's just
I don't
like,
live in a
yeah.
condensed area either.
And so that could be a little frustrating. Maybe a little AI involved in it could take care of that.
Maybe
stuff.
help that one out.
But then there's also this other company. They're not doing highway trucks, but they're doing yard operations.
I saw
So
that.
this company raised $62 million to deploy self-driving terminal tractors that move trailers around distribution centers. These trucks have robotic arms for hitching, unhitching. And that could be kind of like the same kind of like robotic arm that would like
Sure.
pump gas too, I would guess, right?
I think this is a better idea to start, for sure.
It's kind of a confined area,
yeah,
right?
right. And I think
Uh-huh.
they're programming like take this truck to this place or whatever. I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? It could be working construction sites.
yeah,
hauling
I think
loads
this
and
is more
stuff.
like terminals, like trucking terminals, like when
Yeah,
you got
that's
to
true.
move,
Yeah.
move to unload and reload and all that.
All of these vehicles that can just be automated. It's
Yeah.
pretty interesting. It takes away, I think this is how we move forward as a society too. It takes away some jobs, but this is where, the smart people, you got to be involved in the technology. Well, you don't have to just be involved in technology. Just make sure that you're not in an industry that is threatened at this point.
Yeah,
start
well,
looking
and that
towards the
goes to a
future.
whole nother side of things. We're taking jobs away from humans,
We are taking, but you know
but
what?
we're also saving humans.
we don't need
in the same-
blacksmith either.
Yeah, well,
Right?
yeah.
So we
Well,
adapt.
We
and
still have some blacksmiths out there,
maybe
but
not as many, but
Yeah. I guess we still need them, kind of, but not that.
So that's kind of that's kind of what I've got for content.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I've got a little more. Actually, I have to tell you.
Yeah, 10 best-selling vehicles in the United States, which actually this kind of shocked me, frankly. The Ford F-Series is the number one selling
Vehicle
Vehicle.
in America, and I have to say, so if you live in Texas, you're probably not shocked by that number.
no,
it's like
right. I think
there are a lot of
most
trucks
of them are
down
in
south.
Texas.
Right? I know. Everyone has a truck down in Texas. And so anyways, let's start with number 10 though. Let's go backwards, okay?
Okay, we'll go back.
So the 10 best-selling vehicles in the United States, and I also I grabbed the data on their accident rates since we were talking about safety with drivers and things like that.
Oh, sure.
So the Honda Civic is number 10, which
Yep.
the Honda Civic, I bet if you go back for like the last four decades, it would probably be pretty close to being up there. That's always been a very popular car.
What gets me is there's only 242,000 of them. Wow. I mean, I guess a
Right?
250,000 Honda Civics.
2024, yeah. So,
I like Honda. They got a good product. One of our race cars is Honda.
Okay.
And
Although
it's
I
a
have to
Civic.
say, my wife had one, and at like 120,000 miles or so, it fried out. It was a Honda Civic.
Oh, really?
She bought it. She was like, because she had a European car before that, and she was like, I just want a Honda. I want it to last forever and be reliable and whatever. Got to 120,000 miles, and it was fried out.
Really?
Yeah. So
You
I
didn't
don't know.
change the rubber band in it?
Yeah. I don't know. I told her she should have put some oil in it, but.
Fed the gerbils a little bit more?
Yeah. So the second one is the Nissan Rogue. That's
Rogue.
like an SUV, right?
Yeah, it's funny. We rented one this last weekend. I actually nicknamed it the Ragu.
The Ragu,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah.
Because you misread the name.
No, just because I thought it was funny. It's a Ragu.
Ragu.
Yeah, so everyone called it on the race team. We called it the Ragu. We're all getting in the Ragu.
The Ragu. So in number 8, we have Japan also
Doesn't
represented
surprise
by
me.
the Toyota Corolla.
Yep, my daughter
Another-
drives one of those.
It's supposed to be very reliable.
So does my
right?
son. Yep.
And then a Camry. You have one of those too, don't you?
I do. It's anybody want to buy a used Camry that my son just basically changed him for a newer car?
Oh, he did, really? What kind of car did he get?
He got a Jetta. Yes.
He got a Jetta.
A 2020 Jetta.
I mean, some of the Camrys, the newer Camrys are pretty cool.
The newer Camrys are gorgeous. I actually wish my daughter would have bought a Camry over the Corolla, but the Corolla she has is real nice.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of the SUV Corolla.
Okay.
And my son's got the car Corolla. You know, the good thing about a Toyota product, and we're not sponsored, but we'd like to be sponsored by Toyota. By the way, the race team would love to be sponsored by Toyota, but we race Nissans. But you know they're going to last.
Right.
You know, this Toyota Camry that I have, it has 200,000 miles. And if it wasn't for my kid being a complete slob, it would actually be in good shape.
My mom's Toyota Corolla is a 2008 and it still runs great.
Yeah.
It's got like 39,000 miles on it.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. Who's driving that?
Some of those seals are probably getting kind of dry.
Yeah,
right.
right.
So so the fifth on the list.
Yep.
Well, this is number 6, but the fifth one up is Honda. So Japan dominates all this stuff here.
That's 6 on the list is Honda. Yeah.
Honda CRV. So
Yeah,
I'm
that's
just
a
saying
nice car.
The bottom 5 are all Japanese cars.
Yeah, we were looking at that one before my daughter bought the Corolla.
The CRV. That's
Yeah.
that's a very.
That's a great car. Great
and
car.
you see the difference actually.
Wow,
So
look at the sales
you had
of that.
mentioned Honda Civics were 242,000.
Yeah, this is 400,000.
So I think they're probably reliable.
Totally.
And they're
Great
practical
car.
on so many levels,
Yeah.
right? They're a little bigger than the Civic or the Corolla.
I know a
or whatever,
lot of
right?
people that own them. Actually, it's a nice car. Yeah.
And the next car,
Which surprising to me, a Tesla Model Y.
Tesla
huh?
Model Y, yeah. And so I have a feeling this year a lot of the Teslas may be on that list because a lot of people wanted to buy before that the tax credit went away. But
Yeah, we'll see what that number comes out to be.
But Tesla Model Y, you know what? I was torn between a 3 and a Y.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Ys are pretty nice cars.
Yeah, roomy too. Yep.
Let's see. So
Ram pickup number 4, man. Like the pickups are.
Right?
We as Americans love our big vehicles,
Right.
You know?
And if you're in a rural area or Texas metro, Dallas metropolitan area, they make a lot of sense. Obviously, they're so practical. Obviously, for hauling stuff around. Then Chevrolet Silverado. That's a truck too, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a big truck. You know what gets me is like units sold here. Like the number 2 is going to be Toyota RAV4, right? But look at the total units sold. Why would that unit and the Chevy Silverado? You guys aren't looking at the list.
Right.
It's 542,000, but
That
it's
should
3.
be number 2. Yeah,
It should be number 2, and Toyota RAV4 shows it's at number 2, and it's 475,000.
I think that's an AI glitch.
Yeah,
maybe.
I think that's a glitch. Yeah.
So. And then number 1 on the list we said was Ford F Series.
Yeah, it blows me away. But man, as Americans, we love our trucks.
But there are a number of, it says series, because there's like a 150.
Yeah, 150,
right?
250, 350.
Right.
Yep.
So it's kind of a big range of.
Right. I've looked at buying a Ford F Series,
And they have some electric ones too, don't they?
Yeah, but the Lightning, complete junk.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I was watching a bunch of reviews on it, and they were towing a trailer, and they were having to almost stop at every electrical recharge station.
Oh, no kidding.
And it wasn't even that big of a trailer. It was a trailer to haul a car.
Okay.
And they were having all sorts of problems. I mean, it was towing it without a problem, but you could watch the electricity go down. It was just like sinking like a rock every time they got out on a road.
And that is one of the things with these EVs, because everything, with a gas vehicle, obviously, some of it's being recharged through the alternator or whatever, but the EV is only relying on the batteries.
Right.
And so the batteries,
regenerative
you turn on the
braking,
heat, you turn on the air conditioning.
Right.
It's all consuming.
I'm always
from
surprised
one
at
source.
how accurate it really is. And it's like, I always look at my wife, she always turns on her electric seat. I'm like, you're draining more of the battery.
Right, exactly, right?
I'm like, cut that crap out. But, we want to make sure her tushy is warm.
Yeah, I think what I've noticed with the Tesla is that it seems like, if you're like between like 40 and like 70, maybe 75. Usually you don't need that much climate control like in the car at that point.
Right.
So you're not really running the heat much. You're not running the air conditioning much. That's when they seem, and then you're driving like under, say, 50 miles an hour.
Sure.
That's when you get like really a 1-for-1. If it
The
says you
most
can
savings.
go 200 miles, you could probably go 200 miles in that state. But once you start going 80 miles an hour.
Yeah, once you start going to
right?
80, it starts sinking
Right.
quick, right?
Just like, and that's the same like you and I experienced once with a gas vehicle where we were going, we were pulling a trailer with your big SUV Mercedes, right?
Yep.
The
550.
and the at 80 miles an hour, we're getting like 10 miles to the
Oh,
gallon.
yeah, totally.
At 70 miles an hour, we're getting like 20 miles to the gallon.
Yeah.
So just at 10 miles on that gas vehicle,
Right.
pulling a
So we
trailer.
were slow. We
Right.
slowed our roll. Yeah.
So that's interesting. I mean, physics is physics, right? Once you get
Yeah.
to a certain speed, I guess the molecules of air can only move out of the way so quickly without
Yeah.
resistance. So anyways,
Well, that's pretty much I think what we got for this show, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Watch us on I'm gonna say Spotify, Apple,
And
Apple,
YouTube.
YouTube. Like and subscribe. Also comment, please. We want some show content here, people.
We'd love to
You
be able
know?
to hear about people's driving situations.
Yeah, right. What do you
autonomous
drive? What do you
vehicles.
think you should be driving? What do you think we should be driving? What do you think Chris should be driving? I don't know.
Would you be a passenger in an autonomous vehicle?
Yeah, yeah. I'm skeptical on that, but hey, it's a show. We'll see what you guys say. Thanks for watching, Jamie and Chris. I'm Jamie. That's Chris.
See you later.
See you later.
Okay, 137. Wow.